Some ideas that you
Firstly,
think.
people are writing off the Web 2 platforms like Facebook, Meta. It's not going to happen. Twitter. Cut forward 5 years, they're going to have Web 3 integration, all of them.
Interesting.
Facebook, people have to understand, is a 4 billion person network.
Yeah.
Within 5 years, we'll have also launched the central bank digital currencies, whether they're private sector ones like Circle.
That's my big prediction. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Or whether they're public ones, maybe the ECB tries to do a public. Either way, that's now given everybody the on-ramp and off-ramp to go into the digital world. And that's definitely coming. The sovereign wealth funds, so these are the big pools of capital from wealthy nations. That's different to the central bank's reserves. This is the wealth of nations. That is coming because I'm speaking to them and I know that they're doing it. So that's coming. We also know that all of the investment banks are now building out all sorts of products in the space, the ability for people to trade options. So that's all coming too. We know there's a whole raft of new investment management products. That's happening. But the big thing that just happened was $32 billion last year went into VC. So here we are. And you see it written on Twitter is what you do in bear markets is build.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is when you start building businesses. And I'm building 2 businesses in the space and everybody's doing stuff. What's going to come out the other side of this is wallets, security in ways that you can't. It's so clunky right now. It's terrifying moving money from your MetaMask to your Ledger and all of that stuff. That's all going to get solved.
Hello and welcome to Money Talks. In today's video, global hedge fund manager, macro investor, and CEO of Real Vision, Raoul updates about the latest happenings in the cryptocurrency space, including the volatility in Bitcoin's price action, future adoption of cryptocurrencies, and the revolution brought about by metaverse, NFTs, and Web3. Raoul also reveals the key reasons why Bitcoin's dominance is going down, and why Ethereum and XRP present a solid case to dethrone Bitcoin as the leading crypto. So without wasting any time, let's dive right into the video.
I've spoken to some really, really senior people there. And my guess is there is an internal discussion still. There's a whole group. There's a large group of people there who are really strong Web3 people. And they're like, we need decentralization. We need interoperability of assets.
Yeah.
There are some people who want a more protected world because they're monetization. I get it, right? Because people are paid on what they're paid on. And there's some guy who's going to be paid, some guy or girl is going to be paid for revenue that comes out of advertising.
Right.
And it's hard for them to accept that they'll be out of a job if they change it. These people are smart. They're really, really fucking smart people. I think the probability is much higher than the market expects that they figure this out. They're taking a massive bet, right? Twitter's nowhere really in this yet, but they could get into this.
Twitter's never really been anywhere,
Google have done nothing. Yeah. Google have done nothing. Apple don't really need to. They can accept tokens, but that's it. It doesn't really matter to them. Sure, you could have an Apple coin, but it doesn't. But Facebook, I think there's a higher probability than people expect. And will it be perfect? Will it appease the true decentralists? No. Will it bring 1 billion people into crypto and digital assets? Yes. That's why I care about it. I don't care about perfection. I care about the adoption of this technology.
Makes sense.
Perfect or imperfect will lead to better outcomes in the end. Because as you said, it's an iterative process of improvement. So if you start with a Facebook NFT, but you can move it around and do something with it, you're in the game now.
Yeah.
And you're learning about the value of this stuff. I don't know, because there's something else going on, which is dominance of Bitcoin is going down over time. So Bitcoin is not the main show over time. What we're seeing is all these other use cases as well that's coming out of the crypto space. So yeah, look, I do think Bitcoin just continues to accelerate. I use the log channel, and it just does that. It just continues. It works like magic. And that's what network adoption looks like. So you project it forwards, in a few years' time, it should be $1 million. That's kind of all we need to know. How it gets there, kind of irrelevant.
When you say few years, what time frame are you targeting for that?
Well, if you just extrapolate the log channel, it's something like 3 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 3. It could be 3, it could be 5, but not very long, right? But what's really interesting is what else happens in that.
Yeah.
Because every new phase, there's a whole new set of opportunities that we get given as the market matures, new things happen. That's what's really exciting to me. The kind of owning in Bitcoin and ETH, fine, you just keep hold of it, whatever, some XRP, some of this stuff, no problem. It's what else goes on. That's where really the excitement lies. And I think the really big one that I talk about all the time, because I'm also involved in building a business involved in this, is social tokens. So we've barely seen them yet. So I talk about them. People go, I don't really know what you're talking about. Bored Ape Yacht Club, well, Yuga Labs, amongst their 3 projects, had about an audience of about, call it 40,000 people. Those 40,000 people owned a bunch of OG assets. Then they launch the Ape token, and the Ape token is worth $3 billion or $4 billion as of today. Okay, where the hell did that come from? 4 times the size of the original assets? It's because everybody wants to be involved in that community, and this is your currency to be involved. And we haven't started where this is going. Every sports team, every massive pop star, every film, movie franchise, fashion brands, it's all going this way. Yeah, so I think that metaverse is not one place. So it's just us getting more digital. Like you and I would have done this 5 years ago in person. We'd have had to book flights and all that. Now we do it digitally, right? So we're just used to this. So there's a bunch of experiences that are being built now. So this is like the first website. So it started with Decentraland Sandbox and those, I own a bunch of those tokens, but they're very clunky. In fact, to be honest, they're shit. But people are still building in Sandbox because they think something different's coming. Then we've seen what Epic Games has done in the gaming world, but we're not seeing that in the crypto world because it's not decentralized. But then you've seen what Punk 6529 has done with this open metaverse built on that thing called On Cyber. And it's like, this is a full high resolution web browser experience where you can put it on your phone, you can watch it on that, you can put it on your iPad, and it's incredible. I'm like, okay, that was a game changer. And Punk 6529 saying, well, you can build in there. So you can build your, BitBoy crypto community in there, show your NFTs off, all that stuff, and the community can do it, and it's free. It's like, okay, this is really interesting. So metaverse is coming at us fast. Again, it's one of those things that people don't see it until it's in their face.
Yeah.
But, if you and I had talked about this 5 years ago, that, we're going to have media businesses and we just do it from our home by just using Zoom, people thought you're crazy. No, you need all these cameramen and producers and all that. You don't need any of it. I spoke to the head of metaverse at Amazon. Okay. So he's the guy who deals with Epic Games and Facebook and their storage needs and their compute power needs, right? They get it. They're trying to scale this. I spoke to somebody from Advanced Micro Devices, the chip manufacturer. They're like, we're trying to solve this too by figuring out how we can increase processing power. Then there's a bunch of people working on distributed computing power. So how do we just get that computing power using your phone and my computer and whatever it is, my fridge, trying to do that. And then, as you say, there's ways of using tokens to define that. I mean, my guess is you'll be able to use the computing power in my Tesla, within the next 4 years, that I can get paid tokens for using my compute power because it sits in the garage all night. It's connected to the internet, and there's a very powerful computer in it. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're onto something there that all of this kind of way of solving this is a big deal.
Raoul Pal thinks that, like the early internet, Web3 will be complicated for a while, with users unsure of how everything works, and that's okay. Most people using centralized apps like Instagram or TikTok on their phones don't understand 5G technology, and they don't have to. The same will be true of Web3 if and when it takes off. Web3 fanatics will advocate that the infrastructure is a means of reducing the reliance on big tech and handing back control to users. Additionally, Web3 is a reaction to the gatekeeping of the internet by a handful of companies. It promises to be centralized, hand control back to users, and be a sort of internet with a conscience, with lots of it running on blockchain technologies. Web3 will run extremely transparent decentralized apps, or DApps. Transparent because anyone can read the code underlying an app or protocol, provided they know how to read Solidity, Viper, Simplicity, or whatever other language the source code is written in, of course. This does mean that some nasty surprises can be hidden in plain sight. However, a broader question remains. Will there ever be a critical mass of users that know and care sufficiently that their data, and indeed their attention, is being commoditized to learn how to operate swarms of decentralized apps, rather than relying on a handful of companies for all online interactions and fueling profits? While Web 3.0 has been shaping up nicely with the exponential growth of NFTs, P2E games, and DAOs recently, there is still a long way to the full development of the metaverse, and a lot more room to grow in terms of technology which will make the metaverse experience fully immersive. So what do you think about Web3 and metaverse? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon with the next video. Thank you so much for watching.